Good afternoon, lovelies. Thank you for joining me here at the Sacred News and Weather. It is Friday, August 29th, maybe. I apologize for not coming in on Wednesday. On Monday, I said, I think I'm coming down with something, and I most definitely did. I've had a little bug back to school plague all week. And on Wednesday, I was like just like a fountain of snot, and I was not feeling like a pretty princess, nor could I talk for very long without needing to blow my nose. So I figured I would spare you all the drama and come in today. I'm still a little snooty, a little foggy, froggy, but I do have a message, and I'm going to try and deliver it succinctly so that I can go walk and pick up my kids from school rather than drive, but we'll see how that goes. Sometimes I start channeling and I lose track of time and space. So we will see how it goes. And today's message, I was like, is this like a hallucination or is it a message? Like I'm unwell, but I'm not like sick, but it felt like some weird sort of febrile dream and I don't have a fever. So it was just very interesting. Um, and bear with me if I'm a little snuffly. I apologize. I'm just going to go ahead and close my eyes and start sharing. When the imagery, it came, the vision that I had for us when I asked to feel into the energy of my YouTube collective. Sometimes the camera starts really narrow and pulls wide. This time the was like really wide and came in narrow. And what I saw was kind of this desert landscape, and there were like vultures kind of circling. It was a little bleak, I'm not gonna lie. And there was a person. The person was a woman, but I don't want to assign a gender to the person at the end of the vision because I feel like it is more a representation of the divine feminine. And we all have divine feminine energy within us. If you've been around the block with me enough, you know that I sometimes see things in genders, but I don't genderize things because we all have both in us. And sometimes it means we are acting from our feminine energy, and other times we are acting from our masculine. And it doesn't necessarily mean male or female. And while I'm here, I will just remind everyone that these are collective readings. They're not personal one-on-one messages. So take what resonates, leave the rest behind. Don't try and make it about you if it feels way off. And these messages are timeless. So if you are tuning in real time, awesome. If you are tuning in sometime after the fact, whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, or many years after, know that when you are receiving this message, if it is for you, it is at the exact right moment in time and space. So, anyway, there was the woman at the edge of the line of my vision. So, there was a desert landscape and there were vultures flying. I didn't particularly see anything dead, but like something was telling me that something is dead because vultures are flying and vultures are birds that eat dead things. Um, so something has died, and there was a woman standing first at the edge of my vision, but then it became the edge of a cliff. And what I saw over the cliff was glorious. So it was this desert landscape behind her, as if this is where she was coming from. And where she was going to was this lush oasis. There was this beautiful crystalline blue ocean. There was sand. There were palm trees. There was greenery. There was fruit. There were like birds. It was just like this almost Shangri-La kind of feeling. It was like going from the desert into heaven really on earth. And there was a hesitancy. It was like the woman knew, the divine feminine knew that what was behind her, there was nothing there for her. There were vultures and death and dryness and decay. And she was being invited to leap off of where she came from, this precipice of where she came from, and dive into this lush paradise of where she was going to. And there was this deep fear in her heart. And I say our because I was living it. I was in her being. And the feeling was, and the words that I heard whispered in my left ear were, feel the fear, do it anyway. And that can be a trope for sure, but it felt very apropos here. And I sat with that image for a little bit because I suddenly have a fear that I didn't hit record, but I did. Whew, okay. Thank you for indulging me in my insanity. I think it's my brain fog. I sat with the feeling of fear, and is it the fear of leaping? And could we climb slowly down some path into this lush jungle? And the feeling was no. The time is now. The offer is here. And the vision is to leap, motherfucker. And I literally heard that. Like, go, take the leap, feel the fear, and do it anyway. But this energy, this divine feminine, this feeling bodied human could not do it, could not take that leap. She was stuck. We are stuck at this precipice, and we know what is behind us is dead and is done and is truly behind us. And we know that where we are going to, no matter where it is that we're going, is going to be better than where we've been, unless we just stay here at the precipice, because there was a timeline, a way of being that could just keep us right there. That feeling of, I know what's available to me out there, but I think I only, and this is what I heard, I deserve to be here. I deserve to be here in the death and decay, like sitting in what has ended, sitting in what has already expired, sitting in what you know is like has nothing to offer you anymore, but it's what you know. And so there's some feeling of, well, better to stay here in this dry, like sooty, death, hot, awful place and just stay here than go to that lush place, because the feeling was the despair, the decay, the decline that brought you to this precipice. There was a feeling in the energy of, this is all my fault, so I have to stay here. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done or have not done. Spirit wants you to know that this Shangri-La is still very much available to you, but you have to take the leap. You have to feel the fear and do it anyway. And I sat with that person who was, and interestingly enough, when the divine feminine energy turned sideways as almost as if to look back, she morphed into a he. So I could see the balance in the two energies as well. So it's not necessarily a woman who's taking a leap. It is a human that is taking a leap. And the divine feminine, it felt like, wants to take the leap. The feeling body, the sentient, intuitive one, knows that they are supposed to take the leap into this place of hope, of greenery, of flow, of water, of like flourishing nourishment, rather than staying in this place of stagnancy. But there's something about the masculine side of the energy, the thinking, logical part of the energy, that is keeping this being stuck in the old path, stuck in the old decay, because of this feeling of fault, of guilt, of shame. Something is keeping that person stuck, believing that all they deserve is this death and decay and desert landscape. But the death is telling me that that part is already over. Like, it is over and past. And the next natural step is for you to take that plunge, that leap. And it, again, it feels like what will feel like a free fall, like you're going to leap and it's going to feel like a free fall, but it's actually going to be a soaring feeling. So you think you're going to jump and you're just going to plummet down into this new life, which you can do, and it's not going to hurt at the bottom. But the feeling is that you're going to, if you take that leap, you're going to be caught by the hands of spirit, caught by your highest version of yourself, caught by your angels and ancestors and guides and the people who are there in that Shangri-La to support you. You're going to jump, you're going to leap, and you're going to be caught, and you're going to be like flown and just brought down into this new place, this new beginning, this new journey. But man, oh man, can I feel that fear. It came through like I my breath quickened, my pulse quickened. It's like I could have had a panic attack feeling into the fear of that is in this particular portion of our collective. It literally felt like a panic attack. I saw the imagery of tarot that I saw was the Nine of Swords. That's the card of being up all night, ruminating and ruminating and ruminating on where you've been and how bad and wrong and awful and all the things. It's like the spinning, 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 and you can't get off of that rumination cycle. So I saw that card. I also saw the Five of Swords, which we talked about on Monday, which is like the crows kind of plucking at you, like your overworking mind. It's often a card of betrayal, whether it's self-betrayal or betrayal of another. There's another card image that wants to come through. By the way, the image of the woman and what's behind her has a very much Ten of Swords feeling. So that Nine of Swords, where you're ruminating, 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 you're ruminating about what's already done. Like it's already done. It's in the past. You can let it go and begin anew. You can let it go. You can trust that ending. That Ten of Swords has already happened, and you're being invited into the new beginning. And the new beginning feels very much water energy, water and flow. There is an element. The card that I'm seeing is the King of Wands, which is he's a if he's a he, again, there's no gender here. Very passionate dude. I mean, the wand can also be seen as a phallic symbol. I don't often go there, but it could be a new beginning in love. It could be a new beginning in relationship or romance, like one where energies are aligned. There's the feeling of building not just the relationship, but building business, because there's a business element to this as well. The King of Wands is again, he's very passionate, but he's passionate about all things. He's passionate about like where he's going in the world. He's got like a fiery spark, but he's got the maturity to create what that fiery spark holds. If he's come from being the Knight of Wands is often, that passionate, often like player energy, but also like the dude who, or again, woman who jumps from person to person or thing to thing to thing, thinking it's going to bring them to their next level, but it's actually just bouncing energy with nothing, not no direction unless that knight becomes the king. And so I'm seeing here this energy of if you take that leap, you're going to be leaving the knight behind and you're going to be stepping into the king. And again, this is divine masculine energy, but it doesn't mean a man. You're going to be stepping into, in this new kingdom, you're going to be stepping into your kingly power, where the power of your phallus, of the direction of your wand, of where you want to place your energy and attention is going to be abundant. It's going to be used with maturity. It's going to be used with good thought and foundation underneath it. What else wants to come here? The image of the card that I'm seeing is the one with the it's from the Light Seers deck, which I often use, which is it's a black man with his wand, but there's a lion in the background, which is apropos. We've just left Leo season behind, but it's also telling me like there's some like the strength and fortitude that it might take you to make that leap is already here with you. It's a matter of you trusting in whether if you can't trust yourself, if you're the one who's turned this way and thinking you deserve what's behind you, please allow this message to be the nudge that you need to take that leap into this next timeline, into this next nourishing, healing, abundant place. Please feel that energy of the lion of strength behind you. And strength, that when I see the strength card, it can be, strength can be used for or against you. It can also keep you here on that precipice, really, really damn stubborn. And don't let it keep you there. Let your stubbornness go and allow yourself to leap like that, like a lion, leap off of this cliff, leave the decay, leave the death, leave the desert behind, and step into this flourishing and abundant and new and beautiful place. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That fear is always going to be with you. That fear doesn't ever go away. And the invitation is to know that and remember that and to kind of acknowledge it like a friend. We don't grow. I couldn't have quit my nursing job to do this. I couldn't have become a single mother by choice. I couldn't have done half of what I've done in my life if I didn't feel the fear and do it anyway. There are no guaranteed outcomes, of course, but when we don't do anything, when we stay in that stagnant place, when we stay in the desert, all we get is more of the desert and more of the same Nine of Swords spinning story. We just get more of the same. But if we take the leap, whether it is the most successful leap or whether it is just a leap into something new that also will need to be shifted, it doesn't matter. It's movement. And we can't grow without movement, and there will be no movement without fear. So for me, when I feel that fear come up, because it does, it comes up often, it's I allow it, like it's kind of like, oh, hey, old friends, I see you, and I'm doing this anyway. And knowing that it's coming from a place of your nervous system trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you in what it knows, because your nervous system thinks that it knows how to keep you safe, but your nervous system is responding to something that probably got set when you were a child, and you don't need that anymore. What you need now, what you deserve now, is growth and expansion and that beautiful, lush experience of what is over that precipice if you would just leap like the lion, leap with the lion. Imagine yourself on the back of the lion and go. Just going to be quiet for a minute to see if there's anything else that wants to come through. But I think we are complete. Thank you all so much for being here with me. As always, please like and share and subscribe. Tell your friends. On Wednesday of next week, and I'm going to post a link below as soon as I have it up. I'm going to be starting another novena. For those of you who are not familiar with what a novena is, it's actually in many religious traditions. It is a 9-day ritual. And this ritual will be a noontime Pacific ritual. I'm calling it a noontime novena. 9 days in a row, I am going to gather with you on Zoom. You'll have a Zoom link, and there will be replays in YouTube for those of you who can't join me live. We're going to do just a brief snippet of learning, and we're going to do a guided meditation, and then we're going to follow it with a prompt for contemplation in whatever way you prefer to contemplate. Some people are journalers, some people are like, I ain't got time for journaling. So you can just take the question or questions with you and mull them over through your day. The method behind my madness is really resetting ourselves and really re-establishing a new routine for fall. Fall, for the longest time before my all of my senses opened, before I began my own daily meditation practice, I just kind of had that innate feeling of back to school in my system. And I always assumed that it was the back to school thing that was ingrained in us in children, that come September, come the end of summer, it's a reset time. But as I began meditating and educating myself and learning, I really learned that it is actually a natural and innate part of the season of fall to really let go of the excess baggage, the things we don't need. Imagine, the trees dropping their leaves and returning to their core. Imagine the crops in the field sort of like bursting out with their last blooms, with their last fruit, and then returning to seed. And so there's this natural time in our lives, which is now-ish, where we're being invited to turn inward. And I like the 9-day ritual because I feel like it establishes routine enough for you to keep going. And the noontime process, I'm only going to do 30 minutes this time. I did a novena back in, I believe it was February, and we did an hour each day, twice a day. So that was a lot. This is just a little snippet. This is just a little tidbit, a morsel, a bite, a snack, a noonday munch, just to give you a taste of what's possible for you if you commit to yourself. And it really is going to be an honoring of yourself. We're going to explore all of the energy centers with a beginning and a conclusion. So the first meeting will be just an introduction to what we'll be doing. And then each day we're going to move from root to crown, opening each energy center to see what is there for us. Whether you refer to the energy centers as chakras or energy centers, or you are aware of the connection with the tree of life, the Judaic tree of life, or the sacraments, the seven sacraments, it is all the same. So I'm going to use all the language that I have to get you acquainted with each energy center in your body to see what might be standing in your way there, or might want healing, or just might want a little extra love so that you can open up that area and then open up flow all the way through your system so that we can move into the holidays, moving into, just moving into fall, but really things are going to speed up quickly. And I just want to get everybody open and flowing. Also, I try not to be terribly political, but I can't help myself sometimes. I feel like we're on the brink of civil war here in the United States, and it is really difficult to discern what is actually true. I'm sorry, there are like motorcycles going by. I don't know if my microphone is picking that up. But I feel like it is really hard to know on what side of or what media source that we're using. It's really hard to know what the truth is. There is so much information coming at us. There's so many images where it's like, is that AI? Is it not AI? What is happening? What is happening? And I believe the only way we will ever know what's true, what's actually true, is to be able to bring that information inside of us and discern it from inside of ourselves, not from logic. So, not from the neck up, not like, let me think about this, but let me feel what I'm being shown. Let me feel into what I'm being told and see whether or not that feels true to me. And then also understanding that if you are one of those people who's feeling called to take action in some way, the way that you are going to find the action that is most aligned and will be most effective for you is to be able to turn inward and know what wants to come through you. And so those are some of the reasons why I'm going to do this novena. It is going to be a grand total of $9 for 9 days. Initially, I was going to charge a little bit more this time around, but I decided nope, $9 for 9 days. And really, it's just because when people put a little energy into the pot, they're more likely to show up for themselves. So I'm not looking to make my millions in these $9 that I'll be asking of you. It's really more for you to put some skin in the game so that you show up for yourself. And please know that in showing up for yourself, you're actually showing off in service of healing for not just yourself, but for everyone around you and for the whole planet. That is why I'm doing this. All right, you can see the little ears of Chia. I'm going to put my camera down so you can say hi because she is just the cutest thing on the planet. She's been my under the weather super friend for me this week. All right, for real, I love you. I'm going to go pick up my kids. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I will see you on Monday.